Odyssey app from your app store and stream KDAWN anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show, everybody. Very happy to have you joining us. It is the best in pro wrestling, plus any other sorts of shenanigans and hijinks that just happen to go down in the next 2 hours here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We're also streaming on the Odyssey app. If you have not downloaded the Odyssey app, well, I hate to tell you, but the sun will not shine for you tomorrow. It won't. And it's been a rainy couple of days here in Las Vegas. You may have that Charlie Brown cloud going over your head. So make sure that you download the Odyssey app right now, AUDACY, and you will get to hear all our show. You will get to hear all the shows on KDAWN and from around the Odyssey universe, 220 plus stations, including a great show called Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, which I'm sure you want to check out because this guy's on it. Let's bring him in, my good pal. He's wearing that burnt orange. I don't know what happened yesterday, but Texas found their heart. Stu Myrick is on the show. What's going on, sir?
It is 10:07 a.m. Central here in Austin, Texas. And OU still sucks.
So does Penn State.
It was a glorious day yesterday at the Cotton Bowl up in Dallas at the State Fair of Texas as the Longhorns once again proved their dominance over those nasty Sooners north of the Red River.
Did you get some good fried food?
I wasn't there.
Oh.
I was not there. I was sitting comfortably on my couch here in Austin. Obviously when you go to the State Fair of Texas, you got to go for the Fletcher's corn dogs. Those are fantastic. I've been there before. I've done pregame and postgame there a couple times. You got to do the Fletcher's corn dogs. I know there is a list of all the new fried foods that you can get at the State Fair of Texas. But yesterday, all that mattered was the Longhorns 23-6, back-to-back wins. OU did not score a touchdown in either of those games.
Well, we're very proud of your guys. My guys at Penn State.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get. I could do a whole show on that, but let's not. Let's stay with that pro wrestling.
Leave it to Tom Hannafin, who of course calling Bound for Glory tonight for TNA. But Tom Hannafin does a Penn State podcast. He and I have talked before. In fact, we've talked college football before because, of course, Penn State and Texas, two of the blue bloods, shall we say, of college football. So.
Yeah, I forgot to say something to Tom on X. I'm going to have to drop him a line and maybe ruin his day a little bit more. He's got a big night tonight at Bound for Glory, so looking forward to seeing that show. But man, Stu, so much going on. I mean, my God, I was doing show prep today, and I have a list of things a mile long, so we're going to try and get through all of it if we can. It's going to be a busy show. And I suppose we should start with Crown Jewel yesterday. The big WWE pay-per-view event, premium live event coming to you from Perth, Australia. And a lot of interesting things happened there. There's been some entertaining fan reaction to this show, but I think everybody is just still raving about the John Cena AJ Styles match. And if you didn't get to see it yesterday, they both paid homage to a lot of their past opponents during the match, doing some of their finishing moves. An unbelievable moment after John did a Sister Abigail. That was Bray Wyatt's finishing move. And all of a sudden the crowd started doing the Firefly thing, putting their phones up. And singing "Got the Whole World in His Hands," and John, and I have to tell you something, guys. If you are an aspiring pro wrestler out there, watch John Cena's matches and how he emotionally reacts to the crowds and what is happening in the ring and the things that he does. I don't know if there's been too many people out there, Stu, that have done it better in that aspect of professional wrestling than John Cena. Because, I mean, he just, he sat there and just took a second and looked around, and you could see he was emotional about it because, he was good friends with Bray, and just handled it perfectly. And it made the moment. And, it was just a fun match. It was just a fun match, and it made the night for sure.
It was. I saw a couple people, categorize it as a love letter to wrestling, and you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that was we know John Cena is finished at the end of this year. AJ Styles has announced 2026 is his final year of the ring. So this was two of the absolute best that have ever graced a professional wrestling ring, tributing everybody they've faced. It was from Undertaker, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, The Miz. I mean, there were so many tributes, and it was so much fun to watch that all the way up to the introductions. And John Cena wrote the intro for AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And that was so good. That was so fun. And that's why we watch professional wrestling. It's not because of the drama and all that. It's to have fun. If you're not having fun doing this or watching it, you need to find something else in your life. It was just so good. John Cena, yes, gets the win at the end, but man, that was so. It was easily the highlight of the night, easily match of the night, probably a match of the year candidate. I would even say John Cena's best match of this retirement tour. Just so good.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the guys he paid tribute to, Miz and Rusev, Jericho, which got a great ovation from the fans there. Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and AJ did Sting, and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. He did the Shawn Michaels super kick. It was a great thing for pro wrestling. And watching the match, I think, like you said, I think it reminded us why we were fans and we love this so much. I mean, you and I have both been watching pro wrestling for a good 40 plus years, but each of us. And I can't remember a match that was that much of a, hey, let's go down a walk of memories. And I think it's great. I think it's great for John. I think it's great for AJ. And once again, this John Cena retirement tour, which has gone up and down and up and down. Boy, you almost wish you could stop it right there to a point. I mean, he's still got 4 appearances to go, but wouldn't that have been that would have been a great way to go out. It really would have.
If they tie the bow on it today, I'd say he did well. Yeah. Look, this retirement tour, and and he even admits the heel turn was stupid. I mean, that was just a bad idea. And The Rock needs to stay out of creative. But what we have seen since July it's been what we should have seen all year long in the tributes to John Cena, the love that the fans and wrestlers have for John Cena. And yesterday in Australia, that was it was just so good. And
I think it's what we were expecting this whole time. We had to put up with the first Cody Rhodes match. We had the Brock Lesnar match, and just the heel turn overall that just didn't work. But a great match with Cody Rhodes second time around. This match was great. The Randy Orton one was all right. So it's been a little bit of a rocky road, but but that road's still going to continue, Stu. We've still got four appearances to go. We don't know if John's going to wrestle on those 2 Raws, but I would imagine he'll be in the ring in Survivor Series, and of course the retirement match is Saturday night's main event on December 13th. So that's going to be fun. We're going to talk more about John Cena's retirement tour, because there's a rumor out about what's happening at the end of this, and we'll get to that maybe a little later on in the show. But I do want to talk about the rest of the card. And there's been a little bit of splits on what happened yesterday. First, the Bronson Reed Roman Reigns match may not have been the best match we've ever seen with the Australian street fight. But what is significant in this is Bronson Reed gets the pinfall on Roman Reigns. And there's only 2 guys that have done that since about 2020. One was Cody at WrestleMania a couple of years ago, and Bronson Reed. That's it. What a win for Bronson Reed. And boy, I'll tell you, that says a lot about what WWE thinks of him.
Yeah, it was, look, the match was the match, but I think the result, I think it was probably the right way to go.
Oh, I think so too. Absolutely.
I think it sets Bronson Reed up for a huge success. And look, I mean, I think a lot of people were expecting Braun Breaker to be kind of the breakout star, but dude, Bronson Reed is a fantastic performer in the ring, and this showed it. And I think this pinfall of on Roman Reigns, I mean, you saw Paul Heyman's face. He was excited. And I think it was just it sets it up for watching him in the future. And let's see what happens with the Vision. There's some rumors out there like Austin Theory and whatever, but just you got to tip your hat to Bronson Reed on getting the win yesterday, how he handled it. And I'm looking forward to see what happens with him in the future.
Yeah, I think it's great that they elevated him, because you have Seth Rollins in there, you've got Braun Breaker, who of course has the Steiner family legacy, and so everybody knows he's going to be a huge success down the road. Bronson was that guy that you just weren't quite sure what they were going to do, and now he gets this, and it just pushes him to a new place. And man, Stu, it's hard to believe WWE released him a while ago.
I know, it's crazy.
When you think about that,
it's hard to believe he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling before he came. I mean, he was wrestling there, and it's then now that's all but forgotten with this. And they've just made him out to be a dominating force, and I think that's the right move to make. And yeah, like I said, let's see what they do going forward.
Yeah, I'm happy for the guys. So we'll see what happens there. And I'll tell you what, that might be a good spot to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the rest of Crown Jewel. Plus, man, we got Bound for Glory coming up tonight. We've got Wrestle Dream coming up. We got crazy stuff going on at House of Glory. Mercedes Moné wins another title. Stu, it never ends. It never ends. This is nuts.
That's what we signed up for.
Absolutely. We'll be back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN in just a little bit. Stick around, everybody.
Just fine. As long as he comes this week, I'm good.
5 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
At least the Bison won yesterday. I can take solace in that. Thank God. This is this football season was looking so good, and now it's getting very depressing on my end.
I understand. Believe me.
The Eagles falling apart, Penn State falling apart.
Yeah.
But NDSU is going to win national championship. Go bet it right now. Right now.
Hey, quick
you.
update before we get back into Crown Jewel. Sir Mo from Men on a Mission, Bobby Horn's his real name. For those that don't know, he is in a hospital in Dallas. Health is declining, and I saw an update from his wife Denise. Basically, they've been working on. He's had some bacterial infections, body growing weaker. They had to intubate him on Thursday, I believe. He's receiving 24/7 dialysis. His family from North Carolina is in Dallas. Like I said, his health is declining. So keep your thoughts and prayers to Sir Mo and his family. He ran a promotion up in Dallas, SOAR Championship Wrestling. I got to cover them a few times. Met Sir Mo a couple times. Wonderful man. So just keep him in your mind, and hope that he's able to recover, or at least he's able to be comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's terrible news. But so Mo from Men on a Mission, man, and that and I'm one of the few people. I guess I like that team, so we'll wish him all the best. And by the way, it's funny you said that, because I was just going to mention real quick about with all this craziness going on around healthcare, my good friend Pat Casal is ready to take care of you with the Multicare Group. So you got to give him a call. I mean, it's open enrollment right now, and he can take care of anybody across the country. He's well known in Vegas. He's been doing this for decades, and he's a good friend of mine. And I promise you, if you need health insurance, if you need life insurance, you're a pro wrestler, man. Look what happened to Ibushi. You just never know when something stupid is going to happen in the ring if you're wrestling out there. Even if you're a manager, I'm sure, or a commentator, I'm sure Stu's taking a hit every once in a while. But make sure you give my friend Pat Casal at the Molding Group a call. You can reach him personally at 702-286-1014, 702-286-1014. Once again, 702-286-1014. Pat Casal of the Multicare Group, and he is going to take care of you and get you through all this craziness happened with health insurance, and get you he's got some really great price plans too. So please give him a call, and I promise you will be happy that you did. All right, back to our good friends over at WWE as we continue to take a look at Crown Jewel. We had the women's match, and I hate to say it, but the actual Crown Jewel Championship, it was just this thing to make Saudi feel good and give him a big belt. I mean, it's fun to have the two world champions meet up, but man, it just wasn't a lot behind this one. The match was okay. Stephanie McCare gets the win, and what a year she's had. My God. I mean, one match on AEW, WWE swoops in and signs her, and she's won almost every championship in WWE in just a matter of a year. Absolutely incredible run for her. Match was ebb, but once again, we got a rocket strapped on somebody.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. Look, these Crown Jewel championships for the men and women, like you said, it was just because Saudi was paying them a lot of money, so why not? And it was excuse to put the two world champions in the ring together on both men's and women's sides. So it's fine. Yeah, the match was fine. Right decision. Vaquer is just, I think she is a huge star in the making, and we're seeing that right now, and we're lucky to see it right now. I want to see what's next for her, and at the same time, I want to see what's next for Tiffany Stratton, because honestly, she's been kind of just treading water, really. She's had way too many matches against Nia Jax.
Agreed.
Then loses against Stephanie Vaquera. And I like Tiffany Stratton. I've interviewed her before. I dare say maybe it's time to put that belt on somebody else.
See, and now this is the tricky spot on a match like this, especially when you're doing it to a world champion.
Mhm.
That now, she doesn't get to be seen as good as the other world champion.
Yes.
And if you feel like the momentum's dying and she drops off, I mean, she's so young, but there's a chance she could disappear into this roster very quickly and be headed down to the mid card with not a lot of ways out, and this is a woman that is just a little while ago seemed like the sky was going to be the limit for her. And I'm not saying she's dead in the water or anything like that, but a loss is a loss in the storylines. And, you kind of start taking those steps down and, somebody's going to knock her off. I mean, you got a lot of people out there like Rhea Ripley and, Naomi when she gets back and so many others that are going to be taking their shots. It's tricky. It's going to be tricky, Stu. Have fun booking that.
It's going to be very tricky. And that's, that speaks to the depth of the women's roster on both Raw and SmackDown. But at the same time, like I said, it's been a little stagnant with her booking, and this title reign just hasn't been that memorable. So, like I said, is it time for a fresh face with that title? Is it time to do something different with Tiffany Stratton? I don't know. And that's, with the quote unquote creative shifts for SmackDown, I'll be interested to see how they handle her.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about that later in the show too. That's going to be fascinating. We had Io Sky and Rhea Ripley knocking off the Kabuki Warriors. Not a lot of surprise this match went that way, even though I kind of would have rather seen the Kabuki Warriors win this, but you're in Rhea Ripley's home territory, so that is not happening. But overall, pretty good match for the ladies. I would say it was better than the other ladies match on there. But Rhea gets her props, and Io Sky looks good again. I mean, honestly, all four of them did.
Yeah, it was a fun match. You're not going to beat Rhea in Australia because Vince isn't in the chair. So it did what it was supposed to do. Kairi Sane takes the pin. So that'll exacerbate that whole Asuka Kairi Sane relationship. We'll have Asuka screaming at her more. So I mean, yeah, it served its purpose. Okay, and it was fun. It was fun. And then like I said, Rhea getting the win in front of her home country, it made sense. Yeah, I think if this match happened anywhere else, I think Kabuki Warriors do get the win, but you're not going to do that in Australia.
No, you're not. Well, what did happen in Australia was Seth Rollins knocks off Cody Rhodes in an interesting match. Man, guys were firing finishers at each other like crazy. And I kind of feel bad for Cody because he did that avalanche crossroads off the top rope and does not get a fall from it. I mean, and it was, I think the match dynamic was really cool because they were just, you're talking about the two best in the business, probably for WWE right now. And for them to just continually beating the living hell out of each other just to show, look, neither of us are going down. It's going to take a Herculean effort to win this match. Was pretty cool. But then, of course, we get the overbooking at the end and everything gets nuts. But Seth Rollins does get the victory and declare himself the greatest of all time after the match. What did you think of this one, Stu?
I agree with the result. Because if no other reason, Cody won last year. You're not going to have him do back to back because it just it seems kind of boring. It made sense in this with Seth being leading the Vision, and so you had both Vision members getting wins. It was overbooked a little bit. You mentioned Cody not getting a pinfall on the Avalanche Crossroads. that has been a problem in wrestling for quite some time, is that finishers aren't finishers anymore. They're transition moves, or they're, you're not protecting the finishers. And we got to take Cena Styles, take that out, because that's something different. But it was, it's kind of like, you got to start respecting the finishers. Otherwise, it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever,
Yeah.
unless you want to win with, as Summer Miller calls, the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up,
the small package.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the match was fine. Seth winning fits the story. So let's see how they carry forward, especially tomorrow on Raw.
Yeah. So once again, Tiffany Stratton taking a loss, and we talk about what that does to her. What does it do to Cody? Does this hurt Cody at all?
No, it doesn't. Cody's a little more Teflon than Tiffany Stratton. He's a little more established. And it's Seth Rollins, and they are considered the two best in WWE right now. So that's why they both hold, their respective world titles. So no, this doesn't hurt Cody at all. It'll be fine. I do wonder if they plan on taking that belt off of Cody in, whether it's at WrestleMania or maybe before. We'll see. But no, I don't think it hurts Cody at all.
Yeah, fair enough. By the way, got to say hi to our friends in the chat box. We both got from Bionic Scoop Stu. I got a Mark and I got a Stu. So we say hi to Scoop, my friend.
Hi, Scoop.
Good to talk to you, buddy. Always happy to have you here. Seth Rollins said he was the best of all time in that promo.
Well, does he says it.
Does he, but legitimately though, does he belong in that discussion? I mean, are we going to be talking about him, say, 10 years from now in the same breath of a John Cena, a Hulk Hogan, Rock, those guys? I mean, honestly, I think he's earned it. I do.
I would say he's one of the best right now, all time. I think that's to be determined. Right now, yeah, he's up there.
I mean, if you think of his historical significance in WWE in the last 15 years,
yeah,
since he came up with the Shield and everything they did, and the big turn with Triple H breaking the Shield up, and the two heists of the century, and I mean, there's a lot of memorable moments that Seth Rollins has had in WWE for sure.
Well, you go all the way back to winning. He was the first NXT champion.
Yep.
So I think the conversation could be started. I think there still needs to, I think a little more time has to go before you firmly plant him in that realm. But he's definitely knocking on the door.
Yeah, and he's getting there. He is getting there. A little bit about the aftermath at the post show. I wanted to mention real quick, Stu, because I don't know what was going on last night with our Australian friends. They tend to be a rather raucous, independent group of people chanting for Edge and singing his song, the MJF chants, while Triple H is on the mic. Wow, he couldn't have been happy about that.
Hey, look, I had the privilege of going to Australia when I was in the Army. Love that place. Love the Aussies. And you're right. They do not care. They want their voice heard. The Edge stuff, Adam Copeland, that all got straight because, when Adam Copeland, went up to Christian Cage on Dynamite and said, I gotta go take care of Beth. I don't know if I'll be back. Of course, that got all the rumors. that he's going back to WWE. Well, no, he's filming. He's filming that
Percy
Jackson or whatever, that show he's done before. So he's still under contract. I get that. MJF, same thing. You know, I mean, and yeah, the fans, of course, want to see him face John Cena again. That was a huge rivalry. I get it, but it ain't happening because he's under contract with AEW. They're not trading. This isn't like TNA and WWE with Christian that one time. When Christian showed up at TNA while he was still under contract with WWE. This is a different era. So, but it's fun. It's fun. It
was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It's the fans. Of course, they're going to make their. Doesn't mean they're going to get what they want, but they'll voice it.
Let me ask you this though, Stu. Put yourself in Tony Khan's seat for a second.
Okay.
So Trips calls you up and says, "Look, I know that we hate each other. We're rival promotions, but John really, really would love to finish this out against Edge. What can we do?" Do you even entertain that? Or, maybe use it as a bargaining chip down the road or something. But would you take that call and take it seriously?
Honestly, no. Because I want AEW to be the big, I want them to be on the best step forward they can be, and sending one of my contracted wrestlers to wrestle for the rival promotion, even if they are the biggest dog in the fight, that basically cements me as subservient to WWE. So no, I'm not taking the call.
Even if they did a John Cena appearance on Dynamite or something, or maybe let's just say they made the call right and they sent John Cena to Wrestle Dream. John Cena shows up at Wrestle Dream to challenge Copeland. You wouldn't do it?
No, because the match isn't happening in AEW. It's going to happen in WWE. So no.
You got to. I mean, I'm asking for something back. I can tell you that.
And I get John Cena on my TV screen after Dynamite with what's the show? Him and Nicole Byers. Wipeout. Yeah, Wipeout on TBS. So and that is often after Dynamite. So hey, he's already on my TV screen, and Dynamite leads into him. So why not? No, I'm not taking the call. No.
Okay, fair enough. I hear you. But boy, it'd be funny, wouldn't it?
If it's me, yeah, sure. But I want John Cena to wrestle a match in an AEW ring.
Right. That's what I would be. That's what I would be shooting for. Something like that, like Cena or Rollins, or somebody's coming down there, because I'm not giving that away. But it would be fun. I can't say that. We're doing our little fantasy booking. We enjoy it. All right, we got to get another break in here, guys. When we come back, we've got a whole lot more coming at you. There's some other interesting things happening with WWE too. The WWE ID program. People are dropping out of this. They let a few go, but there's people turning it down. Is the WWE ID program in trouble? And a whole lot more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Jets got a safety, huh? All right.
KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, we are back on the Mark Hoke Show. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Also have my great friend Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling along for the ride as well. His show is amazing. You got to listen to him too. Because, well, he's awesome. That's just how it is, Stu.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, greatness begats greatness.
Hey, by the way, there's football on right now.
Oh, that's right.
Stadium in London. Jets and Broncos. Jets up 11-10 because they got a safety. Denver got called for offensive holding in the end zone.
Oh, see, that's cheating. You can't do that. It is. If you break the rule, you're cheating.
It's not breaking the rule.
Yeah. Well, did offensive holding in the end zone.
So the Jets get a safety.
That is a violation of a rule, which means you cheated.
By the way,
that's how it goes.
Tail end of the third quarter, 11-10 Jets over Denver. By the way, I have a connection to the Jets because I covered Garrett Wilson when he was at Lake Travis High School here in the Austin area.
Oh, there you go.
Doing some fantastic stuff before he went to Ohio State.
Well, there you go. And by the way, speaking of all that betting stuff in football, you want to bet on football, you want to bet on boxing, you want to bet on rugby, you want to bet on pro wrestling, just head on over to markhokeshow.com now that I fixed the website and click on the betonline.ag banner. And when you do that, it's going to take you over to betonline.ag and you can fire off all you want. You get a 50% matching bonus up to $1,000 deposit, so you can get 500 free bucks. And right now, all the odds are up there for Bound for Glory tonight. So you can bet on that. Plus, you can bet on these football games and anything else you want. So check it out. BetOnline.ag. Go to markhokeshow.com. Click on the banner to get your bonus. If you don't go there first, you don't get your bonus. So don't be stupid.
I get the bonus.
Got to get the bonus. Bet it. BLO1000 is your code. You'll see it up there. All right.
Of interest here, Cowboys Panthers at noon. Cowboys favored by 2.5.
They're going to lose.
You're probably right.
I have to say that. So more WWE news before we really, probably second hour, we're probably going to be hitting Bound for Glory and Wrestle Dream and some other stuff pretty hard. But there was a lot going on backstage with WWE over the past week or so too, as WWE is shaking up the creative team for SmackDown. On October's third show, they had a viewership of just a hair over 1 million people. It was their worst ratings other than the shows on FS1. And so they have assigned some new people to the creative team. Road Dogg Jesse James still going to be running the show over there. But yeah, there's a problem, Stu. And, I kind of get to see some interesting things on X that people are saying the stories aren't there. And, the feuds are too long. The champions don't feel like champions. The characters aren't interesting. And I got to say, Stu, it has felt like things have been off, and they definitely need to make some changes. You were talking about Tiffany Stratton. It just hasn't been there, Stu. I mean, I'm not excited to run home and watch SmackDown or Raw right now.
You know that in that there's the key. You said SmackDown and Raw, and they're both kind of feeling a little stale, honestly. Um, the changes, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it does anything. I know a lot of people lamented the fact that Road Dogg was in charge of SmackDown. Um, so I mean, even if you change up the people under him, he's still the man. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't been excited for a I haven't been excited for a WWE show in a while.
Yeah.
And you're right. You know, you look at, I mentioned Tiffany Stratton. Look at the tag champs, the White Six. That feels, kind of stale because you basically had the same. It's been the Street Profits for the last 3 weeks, and there's just not a lot of juice there. You still got the Motor City Machine Guns. You still got DIY, who've been they've been busy with NXT. There's just it's not appointment viewing. I mean, I can watch, either follow high school football here or watch something else and then catch the highlights, Wrestling Observer or Fightful or your whatever your favorite wrestling news website is. I just don't feel like I have to watch it.
Yeah, and you could definitely see a couple little moves that they made on the last show with Tama Tonga coming back, and now he's in face paint, and we're going to see if maybe they can split those guys away from the bloodline. Which we talked about that potential issue a long time ago, Stu, that they were going to be bringing all these Anawais in and just diluting that whole thing. And we had
Tama looked great. And by the way, it was great to see Tama back. And, him and Tangaloa donning the face paint they used to wear in New Japan as part of Bullet Club. That looked, I mean, it did something for me. I liked it. I've gotten to know those guys over the years. They're fantastic. So I'm glad they're back. I do wonder if, I don't know. I'm still not sold on Solo Sikoa. It feels like he's, I don't know, almost holding them back.
And I think that is a problem that WWE has. We just saw on SmackDown, we had Aleister Black and taking on Damian Priest, and they did, and they we had a thrown fireball. Zelina Vega's helping him out, so we got the hubby wife team together again. But that to me right now is the big difference between AEW and WWE is that WWE has this set formula. This is the way our matches are going to go. And, it's like plug in wrestler A and wrestler B and their move sets, and we do the match that we do, and that's it. Yeah. Whereas with AEW, while there are hits and misses, there's no question about that. There's more creative license for those guys, and you don't know what's coming sometimes. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes when you take a chance, you crash and burn, and we see that on AEW sometimes. But I wish that WWE would kind of let the guys off the leash just a little bit more, and I'd rather have you try something that people are going to talk about and be excited about and get people excited about these matches again than just kind of boom, 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 boom. Okay. Yeah. Here's a moment. Something cool happened in a match, but that's it. So, it's an interesting dynamic between the two companies right now.
I've said it for months. WWE is all about moments. They're not worried about good wrestling or whatever. They want moments. That's all they care about. As long as they can put a moment on their social media, they consider that a success. And that, I think that's to the detriment of the product.
Yeah, I agree. And look, you don't have a story behind it. You can have all the moments you want, but if you don't give the fans something to care about and something to get excited about, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So they need to change their philosophy. I mean, they've made a ton of money with all these deals, so they're fat and happy, but those deals expire at some point. If you're not bringing in the numbers and the numbers are down, they definitely have to make some changes. They also made some changes with NXT. We had a bunch of releases. One I was really surprised about, but Wesley, Lance Anoa'i, Stevie Turner, probably the biggest ones. Gintala, Draco Knox, Hayes Jameson, Summer Sorrell, Braden BJ Ray, and Jamar Hampton released from NXT. The Wesley one caught me a little off guard. I was surprised about that because they had been featuring him for a while. But any big deal there you see, Stu?
Wesley, Desmond Xavier, for those that know. And I got to know Wes or Desmond when they wrestled Wrestle Circus here years ago, and he's such a good dude. And as I mean, I'm sad that he got cut. He is a fantastic performer. Now I guess the fan in me would love for him to reunite with the Rascals, do something to bring those guys back, because I think that was a fun faction in TNA, especially with all three of them, with Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel and Desmond. The rest of them, I think it's a simple matter of they couldn't find a way to use them, so they're going to let them go.
Yeah, and Stevie Turner, by the way, got on social media and said, "Hey, guess what? I get to wrestle again," because she was being Ava's sidekick.
Yeah.
So happy for her. All right, guys, when we come back, we've got hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show. That's right. It's not just one, it's 2, because people love pro wrestling so much. And now we got a good team on this show. So stick around. We got a whole lot more with Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Of course, you can follow him at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. Follow us at Mark Hoke Show on X and Facebook, YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show. We've got a whole lot more, man. Bound for Glory coming up tonight. Wrestle Dream coming up next Saturday. And Santos Escobar made some money, by the way, too. We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Hey, what time is? That's right.
We got 2 stand-up comedy shows at the brand spanking new Durango Resort and Casino. This is not a drill, it's the real thing. So get your tickets now at foxacrossamerica.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. What's going on? We are having a blast here on the Mark Hoke Show. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I am joined by my dear friend from Austin, Texas, from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick, along for the ride. Very happy to have you with us, Stu.
Mark,
Yeah.
you said Stu.
Yeah.
You called my name, so I said okay.
Okay.
Now that we know each other's names.
Okay. Well, I'm just introducing you to those that may be new to our show and hanging out here in Las Vegas.
By the way, quick update. It's 11:04 a.m. Central in Austin, Texas. OU still sucks.
Oh, God bless you, sir. God bless you. Oh, man. Well, we have a lot more pro wrestling stuff to get into in this hour, and we were talking a lot about Crown Jewel and everything and some other things happening with WWE. There's more news out of there, but I want to kind of lead into TNA Bound for Glory tonight we had a new NXT Tag Team Champions as the Hardys on the NXT Showdown show with this TNA invasion, knocked off Dark State, and they are now the TNA and the NXT Tag Team Champions. They also claimed another set of tag gold at one of the top independent promotions in the country, House of Glory. So Matt and Jeff are loaded up on gold again. And by the way, Cross took on Matt Cardona on that card too and tapped Cardona out. So, wow, a job for Matt Cardona as he tapped out pretty quickly. I think he said it was the fastest tap he's ever had. But the Hardys claiming gold, and now there are 2 sets of tag titles on the line at Bound for Glory tonight. That card, by the way, kicks off, I believe, 4:00 Pacific time. And it is going to be a very interesting night. But, let's talk a little bit about this duel coming up between the Dudleys and the Hardys. Obviously, 2 legendary teams. Now they're getting up there a little bit. The boys are right around their 50s, or late 40s, early 50s. Are you excited about this, Stu?
For nostalgia's sake, sure. It's, like you said, 2 teams, 2 of the greatest tag teams ever to lace them up. Yeah, I don't think we could count how many tag titles between the 2 of them.
I can imagine.
So there's that. They are older. Devon is. I don't think Devon's even wrestling right now.
Yeah, he's been hurt. Dealing with some medical issues. So it's this probably could be his swan song tonight.
Could be. Bully Ray doesn't really wrestle that much anymore. Of course, he co-hosts Busted Open on Sirius XM with I think our mutual friend Dave LaGreca. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun, kind of trip down memory lane. And I think that's what it's meant to be. This is, kind of the final showdown between 2 of the greatest, and let's, appreciate it. I seriously doubt the Hardys lose the tag titles tonight.
No, I don't think that's happening. But it should be.
By the way, I think the House of Glory tag titles are also on the line tonight.
Are they?
It's where I saw something that said all 3 titles are on the line.
Well, that would be.
I could be wrong, but I could swear I saw that. I may, but still NXT and TNA tag titles at least, and maybe the House of Glory. Which, by the way, House of Glory, like you mentioned, one of the best indie promotions out there. Private Party came out of there. A lot of the AEW talent came out of House of Glory. So great promotion up in the Northeast.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the rest of this card tonight should be pretty entertaining. Before the inspiration is going to be taken on the Elegance brand, but they are without Ash by Elegance, who vacated the TNA Knockouts Championship. And there was a little more that came out about her, and I do want to get this in before we really dive deeper into this card. But she said she was doing a signing for RDP Promotions, and this could be really sad because when she announced it, she said she wasn't sure she was going to be back, but what she said the other day was, I might not be in the ring, but I'll still be busy. TNA has opened their doors for me and allowed me to do things backstage, just not in the ring. Never say never. So maybe one day again, but also said she called herself retired. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that as well. There has, and I've checked, there has not been any information regarding her stepping away from the ring. It I'm not going to speculate because it's her business. If she wants to announce it, that's fine. I hope that she has a wonderful life, going for whatever that may entail, whether it's working backstage, if she is able to get back in the ring sometime down the future. But interesting, and this is a woman that has worked a lot. She worked really hard back in WWE when she was Dana Brooke, and of course now in TNA, doing this elegance thing, and it's so yeah, it's sad to see her have to step away, but at the same time, you gotta take care of yourself, and so I hope that's what she's doing, and I hope that she is happy doing that.
Yeah, and I feel terrible for her because I hate to say it, but I picked on her a little bit on the show for some stuff that she did in the ring, but she seemed to have finally pulled it together in TNA. I don't know what it was, but when she changed venues, she really turned things up. And for her to win the Knockouts Championship, just to have to not only give it up, but maybe have her career ended just a month later is such a sad story. So we want to wish her all the best. And hopefully we'll see her back in the ring again. But her friends, Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance, will be trying to get those belts off the Inspiration tonight. The X Division match come up, Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Stu, wow. This is going to be, I think, it could steal the night. It really could.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got two of the young lions, shall we say, borrow the phrase from New Japan, but two guys that, the upside is so vast.
Oh,
and they're wowing fans now. And it's going to be, I think tonight's going to be one of those where they really showcase their skills, and, look forward to a fantastic match. I don't know if Javon wins the X Division title, if for no other reason than it feels like Bound for Glory might be kind of the, that's the event where all the TNA titles come home. So, I don't know if Javon wins. I would love to see them in a tag team. That would be,
oh my God.
That would be fun.
I mean, two young 20s doing their thing, man. It's going to be fun. We've got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match they do every year. It's a 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The winner gets a trophy and a contract for a championship they can use within a year. Tessa Blanchard's taking on Gia Miller. This one I'm excited about, and if you didn't see her interview with Steve Macklin last week, please go check it out. He is such an amazing guy, and he's going to be trying to take his TNA International Championship back from Frankie Kazarian, who he just lost it to at Victory Road. That match is going to be a lot of fun too, and someday Frankie's got to win that TNA World Title. It's got to happen, but right now we're dealing with another belt.
I would love to see Frankie win. I mean, he and I are both cigar aficionados. We've traded cigars and all that good stuff, and I would love to see Frankie as a world champion. He so deserves it. He's been at this for so many years, and he is still at the top of his game. Of course, I will always remember fondly the Addiction, of course, his tag team with Christopher Daniels, and then of course SCU when they added Scorpio Sky, and he and Kaz and Scorpio, the first AEW World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, I want to see Frankie win a world title soon.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I mean, when you think of guys that you say truly deserve it, and that gets thrown around a lot, but Frankie is a guy that you just can only imagine what it's going to be like when he finally wins a world championship. We've also got a 10-person intergender hardcore war between the System and Order 4. We get to see Moose and Alicia Edwards and Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and JDC taking on Mustafa Ali and Tasha Steele, Special Agent Zero, Jason Hodgson, Skylar. That should be just all hell breaking loose, and it's going to be a hoot. Kehlani Jordan's defending the knockout championship against Indy Hartwell. Boy, if you had told me that was going to be a knockouts championship match 6 months ago, I'd have told you that you were smoking something right off the streets of Las Vegas, too.
I couldn't agree more. But hey, here we are. And again, I like I said, I think it feels like tonight is the night where titles come home. So I think Indy Hartwell may become the Knockouts world champion.
Oh, that'd be incredible. That really would. Then, of course, we got the one final table match with the Hardys and Team 3D. And then the main event, and this should be the coronation of Mike Santana tonight, as he will be challenging Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship for the second time. So Mike Santana, of course, part of LAX, and had been working with Ortiz for so long, and then finally stepped away when he came to TNA, and he has been just phenomenal. I hate to steal that from AJ Styles, but Mike Santana, one of those guys that has just really blossomed since he's come over to TNA. And I would imagine that with this being their WrestleMania, tonight's the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mike Santana deserves it after so much success, in the tag team ranks. Let's make him the world champion and let's have some fun. And I think you're right. I think this is the coronation of Mike Santana. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you get your TNA Plus app, and it's also on pay-per-view. So, tune in and watch this. They still have a few tickets left up there in Lowell, Massachusetts, but they've already sold 6,000 plus. So I'd imagine they just opened some seats up real quick.
Don't forget TNA Hall of Fame induction tonight with the beautiful people and a dear friend of mine and Mickey James.
Absolutely. Got that too. So this is going to be a great night for TNA, and looking forward to seeing everything that happens with them this evening. Should be a terrific, terrific show. Let's see. And I'm just running down through if I got any more TNA stuff. No, I think you got it all covered. Last night, Mercedes Moné, actually it might have been 2 nights ago, but Mercedes Moné, Stu, has picked up another championship. This is getting to be just absolutely phenomenal. She is now has 10 belts she is carrying. She is the TBS champion, the CMLL Women's World Champion, the Rev Pro British Women's Champion, the Queen of Southside Champion, the Owen Hart Cup champion, the EWA Women's Champion, the Primetime Wrestling Women's Champion, the Betya Wrestling Women's Champion, Discovery Wrestling Scottish Women's Champion, and is now the Body Slam Women's Champion. And just when you think that's not enough, Stu, she is wrestling in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling on the 19th against Jody Threat for that Women's Championship. So by the time we get to Dynamite next week, it could be 11. It could be 11. And I got to tell you, Stu, I'm loving every second of it. I'm happy for her.
I know her fans are. I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. I mean, yeah, and I get it. This was a big deal because she wanted to surpass, Ultimo Dragon as far as number of titles held. I get that, and congratulations to her. Again, and like I said, her fans, I'm sure they're loving it. I'm bored. I'm ready for her to start losing. Let's lose a few of those titles.
See, Stu, that's where this is going to get interesting. Is when does the roller coaster start going downhill, and what does she do after that? I think that's going to be more entertaining than her climbing this mountain and doing this.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Imagine, Stu, you're a champion in 11 or 12 or more promotions, and all of a sudden, bink, 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 bink. I mean, if you were this was actually a true athletic competition, you'd be losing your mind after you lost a 4th title and a 5th title. So it's going to be fun. Javon Campbell in the chat box, by the way, says Monet might go over. She wins the women tag with Harley Cameron. Oh my God.
Is there a heel turn for Harley Cameron coming?
Well, they just get along. You remember when they feuded? They were feuded, but they were kind of
but
frenemies.
last I checked, Harley Cameron is tied to Chris Statlander.
Yeah, but Chris won the world champion. Well, she was actually on, I believe it was Collision, where she said, "Yeah, I can't wrestle for the tag titles. I'm the world champ. I can't be screwing around with that." So Harley's looking for a new partner.
Okay, well, I don't put it on Monet. Don't find somebody else. Get Mina, her and Mina. I think Mina Shirakawa was with Tony. So, but find somebody else. Let's not put tag titles on Monet. No.
So Javon, you have a no from Stu Myrick.
No.
So just so you know, but hey, crazier things have happened. But yes. Mercedes Monet, another championship. I'll be interested to see if she gets that other one up in Winnipeg. Then I'm trying to think where she doesn't have a title. She's gonna have to win something in, like Argentina or something like that. Get a South American championship.
Well, Mark Henry runs a promotion in the Caribbean somewhere. Maybe she can go there.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be cool. By the way, shout out Mark Henry.
What's up, Mark?
Mark does Busted Open, but he's also co-host on a radio show here in Austin with one of my longtime colleagues, Mike Harge. In fact, they were up in Dallas, which is ironic. So Mark's, of course, huge Longhorn fan. His son Jacob, who I also covered when he was in high school, of course, is a walk-on for the Sooners.
See, now
he's in a wrestling scholarship too. So
you're gonna get Mark Henry mad. So be careful.
No. Mark's a Longhorn. He bleeds burnt orange.
Yeah,
always has. So.
Javon Camp also thrown out there. Jim Cornette will lose his mind with Harley and Mina. Yeah, that is probably true. That is probably true.
You're assuming Jim Cornette hasn't already lost his mind, but that's another story.
That is a good point. All right, let's get another break in. By the way, before we go to break, just want to remind everybody that, man, I'll tell you what, WrestleMania is coming to Las Vegas, and you need to book your hotel rooms. I'm telling you right now, and there's some deals showing up on the travelshark.com/Hoke show. And you need to take care of this now if you're coming. Don't wait until the last minute when all the hotel prices, even with the travelshark.com/Hoke show, they're going to go through the roof. So please go get your hotel rooms now. Go to the travelshark.com/Hoke show, powered by Priceline. Instead of trying to guess what hotel you're going to get, praying to God you don't get stuck at the Thunderbird or something, sign up right now. And I'm sorry, Thunderbird, we still love you, but go get your hotel rooms booked at the travelshark.com. No mystery pricing. You get the best prices you're going to get and some terrific discounts on some great hotels right now. So head on over there, the travelshark.com/Hoke show. All right, let's get that break in. Oh my goodness, still some fun stuff going on in AEW, including indie sensation saying that if they sign there, they will be there forever. I wonder who that was. And we're going to talk about that WWE ID program and take a look at Wrestle Dream and a whole lot more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Burger King might be good too.
On 5 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, I'm just flexing it up, brother. Let's go. Best of the Mark Hoke Show coming at you right now on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We're also streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Get that app right now, and the Texas Longhorns will win another game. So Stu is counting on you. So go get it.
They're at Kentucky next week.
Oh, should be able to handle that one. But just in case, get the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Great shows from all over the planet, really, with the Odyssey family. You're going to be stunned how much content is on that site. So please go get it. And while you're at it, you can sign up, subscribe to us on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and on Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, and follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show.
On the Odyssey app, you can hear my good friend Sean Mack. So radio station here, 94.7, Mix 94.7. They are at ACL Fest, and he's there doing interviews. So check it out.
Yeah, very cool. So get that Odyssey app today. All right, we are heading into Wrestle Dream on Saturday. Boy, what a wild week of pro wrestling, man. 7 or 8 days of just pure insanity. We got to see some fun last night with Will Nightingale beating up FTR, by the way, on Collision. That was beautiful. I love Willow so much. I think if Willow came up to see me and said, "Marry me," I'd probably do it.
She's fantastic. I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah, so that was a little fun little thing happening last night. But Wrestle Dream, man, I'll tell you, and I know this card is not done because 8 matches so far ish. I mean, come on, we still got 5 to go. But this card would be good. They could take this card right now, and I think everyone would be happy.
Yes.
Here's the rundown: Darby Allin, Jon Moxley in an I Quit match, so they get to tear each other apart for a while.
Darby Allin with a Molotov cocktail on Dynamite.
Yeah, he's
a little scary there.
He's a little flamethrower. He likes the fire thing. So Mox better watch out, or Renee Paquette's going to be putting some salve on him all night. Hangman Adam Page against Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship, and I'm sorry, I'm rooting for Joe. Go Joe. I want that title back on Joe. I thought he was awesome last time around. Chris Statlander is defending the Women's World Championship against Timeless Toni Storm, who has absolutely lost her mind. I mean, talk about, we were talking about being free in promos. Yeah. There's nothing that woman won't say.
She definitely
zero.
Definitely takes creative license with her promos. That's for sure.
Just a tad. They did that promo. They were lying down in the ring next to each other. That was pretty different. Jurassic Express is taking on the Young Bucks in a match where the winner is getting a $500,000 cash prize. Wherever that money's coming from, I don't know. But the Bucks, of course, trying to not to be broke anymore. They're working on it. But that should be fun to see Jurassic Express back in action. Kyle Fletcher against Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship. With Briscoe being on the rise, that should be a lot of fun. Brodito is taking on the Don Callis family, that'll be Okada and Takeshita. Jamie Hayter and Tekla in a singles match. And this is the first women's singles match with no crazy stipulations, no championships, anything like that for almost 3 years on an AEW pay-per-view.
Crazy.
So, yes, I mean, it's hard to believe that that's the case, but and two good ones, Jamie Hayter and Tekla, and we got the Hurt Syndicate taking on the Demand in a trios match. They're going to beat each other up and throw each other around, so that should be great too. This, Stu, I said this card, I'm sold. I don't need anything else. I'm sold.
Yeah, this will be a really good card. You got 2 matches for the Saturday Tailgate Brawl. You got Megan Bain and Penelope Ford taking on Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. By the way, there's the tag, Cameron and Willow for the tag titles. And then you got FTR taking on Jet Speed on the Brawl. But yeah, this is going to be a fun card. I love Mark Briscoe to death. I've gotten to know him. He's the best. I want him to take the title off of Kyle Fletcher. I don't think it's going to happen though. I got a feeling, so the tag title match, Brodito and Takeshita and Okada, this could be, I don't know if this will be the official breakup between Okada and Takeshita, but it'll definitely feed into it. Joe and Paige, that's just going to be, let's just beat each other senseless.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be a fun match. Jurassic Express and the Bucks. I mean, it's kind of, remember broke Baron Corbin back in the day? We need the broke Bucks. We need the broke Bucks. So Jurassic Express has got to go over on this one so we can see the broke Bucks.
Yeah, I
got a little taste of it. We need to see more.
Yeah, I can't imagine them losing that match. Their first one back together in a while. So, yeah, I think the Bucks are going to be crying. But it is a pretty fascinating card. I don't know if any titles are going to change hands on this though. It's going to be some great wrestling, but honestly, if I were betting, I don't see any of the champions losing here.
Yeah, well, and that has happened before in AEW. You usually don't see. You might see one title and it'll be like kind of one of those surprise things. But you're right. It's probably not going to be a title change. Yes, you're probably right. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 matches added because Tony Khan loves to add matches because he wants his pay-per-views to be 7 hours long. This one is it's at night. It's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. here in Texas. So we can't have it go, have it go to midnight. I guess they could. Did it with Wrestlers Workers. Why not? But yeah, we will probably at least get 1 or 2 more matches because you still got Dynamite this week. So I'm sure there'll be a match or 2 added.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see this card. Just top to bottom loaded. And boy, I'll tell you, AEW just, you kind of think of them as the little engine that could sometimes, but their roster just, man, you put these matches up and they'll match up to WWE in a heartbeat. It's going to be a really fun night.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Should be all right. So that's goings on in AEW. By the way, Kaden Carter now back to being Lacey Lane wrestled Mercedes Moné, so she's back. She's now in AEW. Good for her. You happy about that?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if a wrestler gets released by somewhere and she can get work somewhere else, hey, that's always a good thing. I want wrestlers to be able to work where they can and get paid and such. So yeah. And it was a good showing by Lacey on Dynamite with her Mercedes Moné. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, there you go. Now we got some comments made in an interview that Scarlett and Killer Cross did, and Scarlett said that if AEW hires them, it will be their home forever. That they apparently, if they get the shot to go in there, they will stay in. Which wouldn't surprise me because I'll be honest with you, if I was them, I know that they want to go back to WWE. But if Tony gets them, I mean, once again, that creative license, and with Cross being such a creative guy, I think that's a really good fit, Stu. And I know that Scarlett had some issues back with Don Callis years ago in TNA, but apparently she's all right with going to AEW anyway.
It's I kind of want to take what she said with a grain of salt, because you never want to say forever, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, if they end up in the AEW, how does Killer Cross get used? For the love of God, please don't put him in the Don Callis family. I mean, Don Callis family is starting to look like NWO 99 2000.
Oh, I don't.
By the way,
I don't even know if that would happen.
Breaking news: I have joined the Don Callis family. No, we don't need that. As far as Scarlett, and Scarlett is a good wrestler.
Oh, she's great.
How does she fit into that women's division? Where does she? Who do you see her? Start up with and all that good stuff. Look, I like the sentiment. It's kind of like saying I'm the best. Well, of course you're going to say you're the best. You're supposed to. Is that what's going to happen? You got to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'd love to see those two in AEW, and Cross showing up. Boy, I'm just thinking about Cross messing with MJF, or in a feud with Swerve Strickland or something like that. Oh, that could be. I mean, the mental games that you could do in a feud with Swerve and Cross. Yikes! That would be fun.
I mean, Cross and Swerve, didn't they cross paths in Lucha Underground? I know they were there at the same time.
They might have. Yeah. So just more fun stuff going on with AEW right now. And
I miss Lucha Underground.
Everybody misses Lucha Underground.
So I got to be at, this was like 2 months after I started Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. I was at it was a Lucha Underground show here in Austin. It was during South by Southwest, and they came and we got to hang out with Rey Mysterio and who was Ricochet, Prince Puma, and all those guys, and then got to see him perform that night in the Austin Music Hall downtown. It was so much fun, and I always enjoyed watching that on weekly on El Rey Network, which isn't even around anymore. So, but yeah. Stuff.
I know we miss it. Want to get back to WWE, and I'll hit one thing before we go to break, and then there's the interesting topic about John Cena's last match. But we're talking about some contracts and stuff, and Santos Escobar apparently pulled off a contract coup with WWE. He was a free agent for a few days, and he did not take their offer and stood firm and made some demands, and WWE caved in and has apparently given Santos Escobar everything that he wants, because he didn't want to be just kind of a hang around guy. And there's a lot of them in WWE. The roster is very deep, but Santos Escobar, pulling off maybe a win here against the Fed, getting to what he wanted in his contract, Stu.
Yeah, that was. I mean, good on Santos Escobar. It kind of makes sense with WWE's acquisition of AAA. Of course, he was there at Hijo del Fantasma. So I could see how they wanted him back so they could use him not only with obviously with Legado del Fantasma, but also use him in AAA. And so yeah, good on Santos to get paid, and let's see what the future brings for him.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where he ends up, because he was getting to be a forgotten man, and now he's going to make sure that everyone will be seeing the name Santos Escobar. All right, let's get a break in here. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the WWE ID program and what's going on there. Is this thing falling apart? And we may have, according to Dave Meltzer, John Cena's final opponent. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. Once again, give us a follow on X at Mark Hoke Show and the Mark Hoke Show on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be right back.
KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's bring it around the bend one final time here. I've got Stu Myrick along with me on the Mark Hoke Show. Stu is just an amazing guy. You know, and I always like to say it, but you know, you're a great friend, Stu, and I love working with you and Phil Stamper and Coach Rosie. You guys are fantastic. So thank you very much for taking the time out on Sunday mornings.
Thanks for letting me be on. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we have a great time, man. We're all right.
That's in my football time, but you know, I still enjoy it.
Ah, come on. The main games don't start till 10. You're missing the Jets. Really?
Who lost, by the way, to the Broncos?
Exactly. You knew it was coming, so no big deal.
Or Jet, they're 0-6 now, which
God, I don't even want to know who the worst team in the NFL is going to be. I think it would have been the Titans if they hadn't pulled off that miracle against the Cardinals, but who knows? All right, John Cena. We have heard a rumor from Dave Meltzer, who is saying that there is going to be a tournament to determine John's final opponent on Saturday night's main event on December 3rd, and the winner of that tournament is slated to be Gunther. Stu, if this report is correct, and Dave didn't get fed a line here, do you like the idea of a tournament to crown John Cena, and do you like Gunther as the last match?
No, and no. A tournament?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That seems. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that, and I don't. And Gunther is definitely not my pick for for his final opponent. I've said before, if you're gonna hold to tradition, then John Cena has to lose. I would say get a young guy, not Gunther. Gunther doesn't need it. Get a young guy that could use the rub. I think they're overcomplicating a tournament, and Gunther, and no, not really. Now, if you want him to win, if you're going to go against tradition, which we've seen, I was in Greensboro when Sting and Darby Allin won in his final match. Then as much as it would, as distasteful as it may be, have him get a win over that individual that was a participant in a sex trafficking incident, allegedly. Have him get his win back.
You know what I think would be a fun falling into what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Survivor Series coming up, and 2 appearances on Raw. How about he takes the Intercontinental title off Dominic Mysterio, and then Dom gets it back in John's last match on Saturday night's main event? There's your young guy rub.
Yeah.
And, a tie-in back to the Rey Mysterio days and everything else. That would, to me, I could live with that. I like Gunther, but like you said, he doesn't need it. He already retired Goldberg, so he's going to retire Cena too. I don't know. I think Dom would be fascinating.
I think that would be fun. It would complete the Grand Slam for John Cena, which it is. It's almost mind-blowing that he has never won the Intercontinental Championship. So it would complete the Grand Slam. Have Dom, like you said, have Dom get it back in December. I kind of like that. I think that would make a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, because the only other guy that I would have really liked to have seen is probably still on the shelf is Kevin Owens. I would have loved to have seen that match be the final one. But unfortunately, Kevin, I'm sure, is not going to be recovered from that neck surgery. So yeah, I think I'd be down with Dom, and like you said, you complete that Grand Slam for Cena, and off we go. So, I mean, can you imagine Dominic running around saying he retired John Cena? For the next 20 years?
Yeah, that would, he's already got so much heat now. It makes sense. And so why not? I'm doing quick check just to make sure I was right. And yes, I'm right. That's the one title he has not held is the Intercontinental Championship. So let's have him complete the Grand Slam.
Yeah, I think that would work. Now, the last thing I wanted to make sure that we hit today was the situation with the WWE ID program. And if you're not familiar with that, basically what it was WWE was putting people under contract that were independent wrestlers to help promote their careers and eventually try to, get them in WWE. In other words, they were trying to hoard all the talent on the independent circuit and keep anybody else from signing them. But, Stu, it doesn't seem like this has been necessarily working out the way they wanted. Now they're not renewing Kylie Ray's contract, so the flirtation between those two may finally be over. But Zeta Steele said she is not renewing her deal, her decision. She said she's just getting started, so she's not messing around with it. But we've seen other ones let go, like Ice Williams and Jordan Oasis, 2 guys people are very familiar with around here. And I can tell you, Ice is just amazing, just an unbelievable guy, and one of the best indie wrestlers I've ever seen. And of course, he's done work with AEW before. But Stu, you don't see people normally turning down deals from WWE. And I'm just wondering if this isn't working out for everybody, and this ID program may not be what everybody thought it was going to be.
I think it's complicated, because so WWE wants to sign these indie wrestlers, but how's that? I mean, how does that affect? Well, Evolve, because they have Evolve, which then how does that affect NXT? I don't know. It just feels like WWE wanted to get out in front of AEW as far as having, being there for the indie talent, because remember, AEW had a pipeline with Dark and Dark Elevation. They were bringing indie wrestlers in all the time. That's how they got Ricky Starks, and it's one of those deals where I'm not sure this was. I wasn't crazy about the idea when it was announced. I know, and I know they use it down in the Houston area with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling and such. But yeah, I gotta believe this. I think it's not worth the juice. Isn't worth the squeeze here. You mentioned Kylie Ray, and isn't she pregnant?
Yes.
Yeah. So she's going to be out of the ring anyway. But yeah, I'm just not crazy about it.
Well, to me, when they announced it, I think that WWE is reacting to the fact that AEW was finding a lot of these people out on the independent circuit. And, you see some of the young guys that they've brought up. And I think they were just trying to get their fingers in there and say, okay, we're going to find the best indie wrestlers that are out there, and we're going to block AEW from getting them. Plus, we're going to be able to have some leverage on independent promotions as well by, giving you some restrictions. Well, you want this WWID guy? Well, you're going to have to play ball with us a little bit. And, it really seemed like the global domination move to get into the independent circuit, but it doesn't appear to have panned out.
No.
It's funny to me, like FSW is technically not in WWID program out here, and they're an absolutely incredible promotion.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There are so many really good independent promotions. We've got them here with Inspire, with, obviously Rhodes Wrestling Association can't be one because they're, Dustin's and AEW, but there's so much good independent wrestling. And I say it every week, go out and support independent wrestling. Phil Stamper, our our colleague and good friend, he's doing the work, and
that list is unbelievable. That list is unbelievable. If you don't follow him at Trust and Phil, every week he puts that out on Friday. He's got the whole independent calendar for the entire country.
It's a little I remember the rumors about WWE wanting to buy Pro Wrestling Noah and make it NXT Japan, and that never happened. Obviously pandemic got in the way and all that good stuff. I gotta believe that eventually Triple H and Nick Khan and Shawn Michaels and everybody, they gotta kind of, I think they're trying to spread themselves a little too thin. They need to just concentrate on NXT, concentrate on the Performance Center, and sure, Evolve as well, especially if they want NXT to be the third brand. Then you still got to have a development brand, which is Evolve. I get it. But I think they need to just concentrate on what they're doing and try not to take over the entire world.
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. Couple things to mention real quick before we get out of here. Apparently Raven, of course, the ECW legend, has Parkinson's. So we want to wish him all the best, as he's apparently starting to go down that journey. And we want to hopefully he'll be healthy for a long, long time. And, so take care out there, Raven. And Psycho Stu, who was the victim of the attack by Jackson in that independent card, he has apparently announced he's done wrestling. So, hopefully he's going to recover and everything's going to be okay with him. But yeah, so no more, apparently no more Psycho Stu in the ring. It's too bad.
Hopefully he can have a wonderful life, and as I said, hopefully he is happy.
Yep. So there you go, everybody. What a great show. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
You got to follow him at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRICK. And you can follow our show at markhokeshow.com with the website, and then on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show, and we're out there hiding on Instagram and some other ones. But
11:55 and OU still sucks.
Yeah, they do. They do. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Guys, we'll see you next week, and we'll just keep bringing you that great pro wrestling news. And by the way, markhokeshow.podbean.com for podcast. Enjoy Bound for Glory tonight. We'll see you next week. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.